I moved into the house a few months ago. It wasn't anything special, just a small place in the middle of nowhere. Quiet, peaceful, exactly what I needed after everything that had happened. At first, it was perfect. The silence at night was soothing, and the forest surrounding the property felt like a shield, keeping the rest of the world at bay. But then, things started to change. The first sign was subtle. Small noises upstairs when I knew I was alone. It wasn't anything loud, just the occasional creak or shuffle. I told myself it was the house settling or maybe an animal on the roof. Still, it made me uneasy. One night I was sitting in the living room reading when I heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate footsteps coming from the second floor. My stomach dropped. I tried to rationalize it again, but something about the sound felt wrong. I grabbed the flashlight I kept by the couch and crept upstairs, my heart pounding in my chest. When I got to the hallway, everything was exactly as I'd left it. No sign of anyone. I checked every room, every closet. Nothing. I told myself I was imagining things and went back downstairs, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. The next few nights were quiet. I started to relax again, thinking maybe I'd just been paranoid. But then one night, I woke up to the sound of footsteps on the stairs. This time, they were faster, almost frantic. I froze in bed, listening. The steps stopped at the top of the staircase. I held my breath, waiting for something to happen, but after a long moment, the house fell silent again. I didn't sleep after that. The following evening, I was determined to prove to myself that nothing was wrong. I went to bed with my flashlight and a kitchen knife within arm's reach. At some point during the night, I woke up to a faint scraping sound, like fingernails on wood. It was coming from the hallway. I sat up, every nerve in my body on edge. The sound stopped. Then, slowly, my bedroom door began to creak open. I grabbed the flashlight and shone it toward the door, my hand trembling. There was nothing there. I got out of bed, knife in hand, and checked the hallway. It was empty. But when I turned back toward my room, I saw something that made my blood run cold. There was a handprint on the outside of my door. It wasn't mine. The next day, I called the police. They came out, searched the house, and found no sign of a break-in. They assured me it was probably just my imagination, but I could tell they didn't really care. To them, I was just some paranoid guy living alone in the woods. That night, I stayed up late, sitting in the living room with all the lights on. Around midnight, I saw movement in the corner of my eye. When I turned to look, I saw a figure standing just outside the window, watching me. It was a woman. Her face was pale, almost ghostly, and her dark eyes stared right through me. For a moment, we just stood there, locked in a silent stare. Then she smiled, this twisted, unnatural smile, and turned, disappearing into the trees. I ran outside, flashlight in hand, but she was gone. I searched the yard and the edge of the forest, but found nothing. No footprints, no sign that anyone had been there. After that, the activity in the house escalated. Doors would slam in the middle of the night. Objects I knew I hadn't touched would be moved, and I'd hear whispers just on the edge of my hearing. The woman started appearing more frequently, always outside, always watching. Sometimes she was in the yard, other times at the edge of the forest. Last night was the worst. I woke up to the sound of my bedroom door slamming shut. When I turned on the light, the woman was standing at the foot of my bed. Her face was inches from mine, and I could feel her cold breath on my skin. I don't remember grabbing the knife, but I must have, because the next thing I knew, I was standing in the hallway, holding it tightly. The woman was gone, but the door to the basement was wide open, swinging slowly on its hinges. I don't know what she wants, but I know she's not finished with me. I've started keeping my rifle next to my bed. If she comes back, I don't know what I'll do, but I'm not going down without a fight. Last night, I decided to check the forest edge at dawn. Something was drawing me there, like an invisible force pulling me toward the darkness. I stood at the edge of the woods, gripping my rifle tightly, every sound amplified by my nerves. The forest loomed thick and still, as if it were holding its breath. I felt her presence before I saw her. From the corner of my eye, I caught a fleeting glimpse of her pale figure disappearing deeper into the trees. My heart pounded, but I didn't follow. I just stood there, staring into the abyss of shadows. She wanted me to come after her, but I wasn't going to play her game. When I returned to the house, the sun was starting to rise, casting long shadows across the yard. Bosley was waiting for me on the porch, his eyes sharp and his ears perked. He's been my one constant through all of this, my guardian. I sat beside him, his warm presence grounding me as I stared out at the house and the forest beyond. The fog was lifting, but I knew the danger hadn't passed. She's still out there, watching, waiting. But I'm not alone. As long as I have Bosley by my side, I know I'll face whatever comes. For now, the house is quiet. The forest is still. But I can feel it in my bones. This isn't over. And when she returns, I'll be ready.